And ye men, O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in its course. He compasses the heavens round about, and fetches his course again to his own place in one day. And they go around one day. Is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore great is the truth, and stronger than all things. See that? The Most High made all these things. He said, great is the truth, and stronger than all things. All the earth calleth upon the truth, and the heaven blesses it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing. Wine is wicked, the king is wicked, women are wicked, all the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works. And there is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness also they shall perish. You see, in your not following the laws of the Most High shall all these perish. As for the truth, it endureth, and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. That's why you can't go wrong with the truth. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards. Ain't no individuality, ain't no partiality or none of that with the truth. When you're in the truth, you're really dealing with the truth. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards. You can't give her no gift. If somebody can look over whatever you're doing that's wicked. But she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things. And all men do well like of her works. Neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness. And she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the Most High power of truth. And with that he held his peace. And all the people then shouted and said, great is truth, and mighty above all things, as he said initially. See? But you see what he said? He spent so much time on the truth. What was mostly spent the time on? The king, wine, women, or the truth? Of all three wise men's statements, what did he spend the most time in explaining? Women. Was above all things is the truth. So after the truth is what? Women. That the king is wicked, wine is wicked, women's wicked, son of man wicked, but only the truth stand above all. Verse 42. Then said the king unto him, ask what thou wilt more than is appointed in the writing, and we will give it thee, because thou art found wisest, and thou shalt sit next me, and shall be called my cousin, just as they said. Initially, what the benefits would be for the wisest statement. Then said he unto the king, listen to this. Then said he unto the king. Now he said, whatever you want. Listen what the king said initially. Then said the king unto him, verse 42, ask what thou wilt more than is appointed in the writing, and we will give it thee. So listen what he said. Verse 43, then said he unto the king, remember thou thy vow, which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem in the day when thou camest to thy kingdom, and to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart, when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send them again thither. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites, the so-called Caucasians, burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees. So that's why you got to understand this all goes together. You look at how the Most High said, go to the book of Obadiah. What the Most High told Edom. So you wonder why things don't go down the way they are, because the Most High already said, look, Obadiah, verse 11, saying, the day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces. It's talking to Edom. And foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. See? But thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day of that he became a stranger. Neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. See? Thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. See? Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossways to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. Stand in the way of us being able to escape from the Babylonians. That's what it says right here in 1 Ezra 4 and 45. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees, by the Babylonians. We were in captivity for 70 years under the Babylonians. That's what the Most High is telling Edom what he did. Why the judgment going to come down, it's going to come down upon them. This is what they did. That's why he's saying, now you look, he said you can have whatever you want besides what was appointed to you in the decree that was brought forth that you would get. I'll give you more. This is what he's saying. Verse 44, you got to hear this. It says, verse 43, then said he unto the king, remember thy vow, which thou hast vowed to build Jerusalem in the day when thou camest to thy kingdom, and to send away all the vessels that were taken away out of Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart when he vowed to destroy Babylon, and to send them again thither. Remember, he took the vessels that Nebuchadnezzar, that's the Ethiopians, the Babylonians, had taken out of our temples and set it in the temple of his gods, his idols. We read that in Ezra, the first chapter. This will show you how this goes right together. It says, thou also, verse 45, thou also have vowed to build up the temple, which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans. See, the Edomites have done a whole lot. They burned down the temple of the Most High, who worshiped the Most High, when the Babylonians came, take us into captivity. Listen, and now, O Master the King, this is that which I require, and which I desire of thee. And this is the princely liberality proceeding from thyself. I desire, therefore, that thou make good the vow, the performance whereof with thine own mouth thou hast vowed to the King of heaven. Then Darius the king stood up and kissed him, and wrote letters for him unto all the treasurers and lieutenants and captains and governors, that they should safely convey on their way both him and all those that go up with him to build Jerusalem. He wrote letters also unto the lieutenants that were in Seleucia and Phoenix, and unto them in Lebanon, northern Africa, and that they should bring cedar wood from Lebanon unto Jerusalem, and that they should build the city with him. Moreover, he wrote for all the Jews that went out of his realm up unto jury concerning their freedom, that no officer, no ruler, no lieutenant, no treasurer should forcibly enter into their doors. Don't go into their doors. Can't forcibly enter into their doors. And that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute, and that the Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews which then they held. So Edomites got to give up the villages of the Israelites that they held. Remember what he said in verse 45. Thou also have vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans. They burned down. See, just like they did with the Moors. Moors ruled Spain for almost 800 years or more approximately. And they told them, hey, came to home and say, hey, they had ships and everything. You see all the magnificent buildings that were built, which are Israelites, more just mean black, but they were Israelites. It wasn't no Hamites, they were Shemites. They were Israelites. Built fantastic cities and so forth. They can't build them like that to this day. The tops of these buildings look like ice cream cones. It's going up into a beautiful and so forth. They told them, hey, we give you so long to get out. It was in their homes, ran to the ships, they had burned down the ships. Burned them up. As you see here in the Babylonian captivity, they came to get us. They did this. They burned on our temples. You see, they took over our place of residence where we were living. That's why Darius tell them to give up all the villages that they lived in. Give it back to the Israelites. So when they went back from seeing their ships were burned up, went back and they cut their heads off, put them on poles and so forth, burned their houses down. It's not something that just started. They've been doing it. We're reading about it here. Why he said. Verse 49, moreover he wrote for all the Jews that went out of his reign into jury concerning their freedom, that no officer, no ruler, no lieutenant, no treasurer should forcibly enter into their doors, and that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute, free without paying any taxes, and that the Edomites, so-called white people, should give over the villages of the Jews which they then held. I mean, they got to give them up. Yeah, that there should be yearly given 20 talents to the building of the temple until the time that it was built. Another 10 talents yearly to maintain the burnt offerings upon the altar every day, as they had a commandment to offer 17. And that all they that went from Babylon to build the city should have free liberty, as well they as their posterity and all the priests that went away. He wrote also concerning the charges and the priests' vestments wherein they ministered, or their clothes. And likewise for the charges of the Levites to be given them until the day that the house were finished, and Jerusalem builded up. And he commanded to give to all that kept the city pensions and wages. Handle, wages. He sent away also all the vessels from Babylon that Cyrus had set apart. Remember we read in 1st Ezra that Cyrus got all the gold and silver vessels that we had, that Nebuchadnezzar had taken when we fell under the Babylonians. Cyrus got them back. And here Darius is getting all the vessels from Babylon that Cyrus had set apart, and all that Cyrus had given in commandment. The same charge he also to be done, and sent unto Jerusalem. Now when this young man was gone forth, he lifted up his face to heaven toward Jerusalem, and praised the King of heaven, praised the Most High. See? Praised the Most High. He said, look what I've done, look what I've done, look what I've done, everybody. He looked up into heaven and gave all praise to the Most High, King of heaven, and said, from thee cometh victory. Hear that? He the one said it. He said, from the Most High cometh victory. From thee cometh wisdom. And thine is the glory. And I am thy servant. So we are servants. Blessed art thou, who hast given me wisdom. For to thee I give thanks, O Most High of our fathers, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so he took the letters and went out and came into Babylon and told it all his brethren. And they praised the Most High of their fathers because he had given them freedom and liberty. See, go up and to build Jerusalem and the temple, which is called by his name. And they feasted with instruments of music and gladness 7 days. So it was feasting, having a party. Come on, you got music going on, you got food going on, party 7 days. That's how we was doing it. So I just want to bring that forth to show you how in exaltation, eat for yourself. Give the glory to the Most High. Give the glory to the Most High. You see what he did? And when he told the brethren concerning the temple going to be built, what they did. This is our ammunition and our examples of how things work and how you please the Most High. Giving him praise and glory, like I said initially. So let's look at Job 32 and 1. So we can't, we have to remember through it all we're in the condition that we're in because of what? Breaking the laws of the Most High, breaking his rules and regulations, breaking, not knowing how to please him. And knowing what pleases him and still being wicked. That's why you cannot be thinking that you are all that. When you're still in captivity. Now you're going to have enough faith to move mountains into the sea. Make sure everything is working for you, going right for you. Some of you have attitudes. You take an attitude out on anyone because you're not satisfied with yourself. When I look at love thy neighbor as thyself, you start with self. How you feel about yourself, how you treat somebody else. You just satisfied with yourself, how you gonna treat somebody, how you gonna really love somebody. Love thy neighbor as thyself. You don't really love your neighbor. You say love is the keeping of the commandments, which love is the keeping of the commandments. But the commandments tell you to love thy neighbor as thyself. How you feel about yourself, watch how somebody treat you, that's how they feel about themselves. That's why they be out there bugging out. All people be bugging out. Because they're not satisfied with themselves. When last time you look in the mirror at yourself, say, I love you. And some of you look in the mirror, you love yourself so much that you're so conceited, that's why I got to deal with this lesson. Though you ain't nothing as you ought to be, but you think you something. And we ain't nothing as we ought to be, including myself. Because how come it's going to take 1,000 years for a Mashiach to come back and show us of the Father? You know him already? You don't need 1,000 years of a Mashiach teaching you? If you do, you need to shut down and listen. You don't fall short of all the examples that we have here in the Bible of not over-exalting ourselves and thinking we all that, or right so righteous. Because you didn't memorize a few scriptures or you didn't realize that you are a Hebrew Israelite. And I'm definitely ain't talking to the other nations. Y'all already dealing with idolatry. And I'm talking to Israel. Listen, as the word is. Most of these words are talking to us, the 12 tribes of Israel. This is our book. This is our story. Job 32. Because you look, Job was righteous. And no, before we go to Job 1 and 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright and one that feared the Most High and eschewed evil. See? That's Job. And the Most High asked Satan, in verse 10, has thou made, the Most High said unto Satan, verse 8, hast thou considered my servant Job? That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feared the Most High and eschewed evil. But he asked the question. He's not saying that he is, he just asked the question. Have you considered my servant Job? There is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feared the Most High and eschewed evil. Right? So now, you know what the Most High, you know the story, you should know the story of Job. I went through all of Job, breaking down the whole chapters of Job. So we go to Job 32 to see what was wrong with Job. Why did the Most High allow Satan, ask Satan, have you considered my servant Job? And he's perfect. This is for all you so righteous, especially you ones out there that call yourself Christians. Y'all are worst of all. Hold it and down. Can't tell you nothing. Hand the Bible to you, don't know nothing. And some of you Israelites. Hold it and down. You already got your seat in the kingdom, but in action, where is it at? You can't tell me what number you are. You can't tell me nothing, but you act like that. That's why you got to humble yourself. Most I want a broken and contrite spirit of humility before him, before he visits you. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power. Most I said, I will melt you. He gonna melt people. That's why I'm trying to warn you. Job 32 and 1. So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. See? Job was righteous in his own eyes. From what he said to them. And had been said to them. That's the conclusion of the whole matter. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Berakal, the Buzite, of the kindred of Ram, against Job. Was his wrath kindled because he justified himself rather than the Most High. He justified himself like he shouldn't be getting what he was getting from the Most High. Most High the one that wounded, the Most High the one that healed. He the one that killed, he the one that make alive. Also against his three friends was his wrath kindled because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. So, look at Proverbs 12. But remember what Job said. In verse 1, chapter 32. So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Job thought he was so righteous that the Most High shouldn't have did this to him. Or he couldn't, this shouldn't happen to him. Nobody's above the Most High. And whatever he's going to do is all righteous. See? That's why he done it, because he was walking around self-righteous. Proverbs 12 and 15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. See, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes. But he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. He that listen to counsel is wise. Look at Luke 18. Go to Luke 18 chapter 9. That's why you hear it was a counsel that Job was getting from his friends, and young Elihu had to check them all. Luke 8 and 9 to 14. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Don't that sound like a lot of you Christians out there? And some Hebrew Israelites can't leave you out. You think you're so righteous, you just despise everybody. Some of you act like the apostles when they said, hey, we had a man that was casting out spirits by showing my shop, and everyone said, they say, hey, we forbade him to do that because he ain't rolling in our camp. He ain't rolling with us. Mashak Shai said, leave him alone. Better hear what he said. He said, leave him alone. They're not against us, they're for our part. Mashak Shai have many disciples. People you ain't never met in your life. So listen, this is how some of you are out there. I don't see people just condemn people to hell. That's living. You don't know if they're a little one or not. But gonna be one of the Most High's little ones. Yeah, they're in bad shape at that time, but who's to say what they're gonna do tomorrow, the next day, a week from now, a month from now? Like some of you was in all kind of wickedness. Now you righteous enough. Trying to be righteous by keeping the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. You know where you came from. You know where we came from. So here it is. You have this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, or whatever you have. Now you're gonna look down on somebody. That's thinking you all that. You all righteous. Listen. Luke 18:9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves. They trusted in themselves. Me. You know the spirit. Trusted in themselves, not the Most High. There ain't no praise the Most High if you trusted in yourself. That they were righteous and despised others. 2 men went up into the temple to pray. One a Pharisee and the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. Most High, thank thee. I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And a publican, standing afar, would not lift up so much as his eyes into heaven. So hold his head down, wouldn't even look up to heaven. But smote upon his breast, saying, the Most High, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. See? For everyone that exalted himself shall be abased. All you that's righteous, over righteous, thinking you all that, you're going to be brought down. It's the word of a Mashiach Yahushua. And he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Take it or leave it. This is what you got to look at. And what these words are going to prove according to the volume of the book. Go to Proverbs 14 and 12. Proverbs 14 and 12. Because a lot of you don't take this serious. Y'all think the Most High can't touch you. Just like Job felt the Most High should have been touching him. Because you're playing around in the truth. That's why I went too slothful. We ain't doing enough. Okay, what you're doing, it ain't not enough. As long as you think that way, you'll work to do more. Proverbs 14 and 12. There is a way that which seemeth right unto a man. There's a way that seemeth right to a man or you women. It seems right to you, but the end thereof are the ways of death. The end thereof are the ways of death. And after the death is the judgment. You can't make up for it the next day. If you dead today, you finished. There's a way that seems right to you. You righteous. You got it going on. Because of whatever you call yourself doing, that your name can be written in the book of life, you better understand this truth. Understand what's being written here. What has been written and what's being said. It's so important. Proverbs 16 and 2. Proverbs 16 and 2. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. See, all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. But the Most High weigh up the spirits. Most High know. You can think you clean your own eyes. Like a lot of you think brothers is this way and that way because you only hear them on video. You don't know these brothers once the video is over or the camp shut down or the class is over. You don't know what they're doing afterward. You don't even know them. But you didn't exalt them. And they allow you to exalt them. That's so you know it's about them. You can be more about the man than it be about the Most High and Mashiach Yahushua. You better understand. Most High ain't playing about it. You exalting yourself, and that's so you know. Man ain't talking about the Most High. Man ain't talking about the preachers, ministers, the priests. Look, Exodus 34:14. Exodus 34:14. Thou shalt worship no other power, even if it's yourself. You heard what the Pharisee was saying, I do this, I do that, I do that. That's worshiping himself. I ain't like this, man. This ain't nothing. Listen, thou shalt worship no other God. For the Most High, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power. See? Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their gods. See, you understand this? If they'd have set themselves up and say, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, go over that all the time. Job 9:24. Those that know. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not wherein who is he. What do you do? He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not wherein who is he. So that's the pride, ultimate pride. To cover up the face of the Most High, cover up the face of Mashiach Yahushua, and put himself there. Now, when you allow somebody to put you there, whether or not you want to accept it or not, you falling into what it's saying now, going a whoring after their God, their ideologies, their religions, their falsehoods, and so forth, their philosophies. You're dealing with the same spirit. And exalting yourself as they have exalted themselves. So I say this, you've been duped. You've been ran them up. You, as Marco would say, you've been Shanghai, bamboozled. You've been made to go into the lake of fire with them. The wicked. Because you wicked. You know what the Most High says? His name is jealous. It tells you, Hebrews 10:31, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. You better fear the Most High. I said, I tell you, but you better fear. You better fear him that can cast your butt into hell. He can kill you and cast your butt into hell. He said, yeah, fear him. That's the Most High. He said, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land. You got to be right there with them to make this covenant with them. You got to be joined to them in their spirits. The Most High, he's the king of spirits. He understands the spirits. You have the same spirit, the same prideful spirit, you hate me for man and the Most High, it says. So it says, lest thou go and make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. See, that's what has happened. That's what has happened. They set themselves up as the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua, and pride. You can't be no prideful than that. Tell me how you can be more prideful than that. Just say that you are the Most High, and it's a lie. And you are a Mashiach Yahushua, and it's a lie. Or man exalts you, and you don't give praise to the Most High. What's the difference? You right here. Isaiah 13:15. You right here. This you. Great teaching. All praise to the Most High. Great this, great, great. To you, you better say all praise to the Most High. You better learn how to say it. Or you fall right here. Isaiah 13:15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So if you join unto them in their pride, and not giving the Most High, you understand, that's why he's going to do what he's going to do. Because nobody really exalting the Most High like they should. It's going to take 1,000 years. He's going to allow Mashiach Yahushua to reign and rule these nations. The remnant of these nations that's left, and the remnant of Israel that's left, with a rod of iron. The laws of the Most High. They don't want to serve us, they're going to perish. That's what it says here. You that's joined unto them, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them, even if it's in the same mind, shall fall by the sword. You see? That's why he told you going to put the sheep on the right hand, Matthew 25:31 down, and the goats on the left. It's not just because you can't look at the goats just talking about just Edomites. No, it's the mindset. You have taken on the image of the beast. Regardless of how you look at it, there's many different ways you're taking on this mark of the beast. If your mind and spirit and soul is down with the same way he is in an action, then you're going to fall right with him, he's saying. You're going to be right over there with the goats. Well, y'all know some of you don't like it. But it's real. Can't get no realer than this. But see, nobody care about, that's how prideful they are, because nobody give a damn about 2/3 of our people going to be put to death. You only care about Massa. What's said about him and them. What about the other nations? It's just them. Ain't the only one. So I said, when you just counteract and look at, like I'm saying, there's a spirit of the elite that's abominable. Most I hate all abomination. And when you follow that same type of spirit, what's the difference? It don't matter what color you are or what nation you are. You follow that same spirit, you're going to be on the side of the goats. That spirit that's wicked in you. That don't want to be righteous. Don't want to do what's right. It's simple as that. No more, no less. Either you're going to be righteous, keeping the laws of the Most High, and the faith of the Most, and the Mashiach Yahushua to the glory of the Most High, fearing the Most High, repentance, or you're going to be a goat. And ready and preparing yourself for the lake of fire. That's why it's about change. You can't be the same. You the same way you always been, then you ain't no Israelite. You the same as you was. You ain't nothing but a heathen. Just like he said, what Ezra say, what do people do? They got rid of the mindset, the filthiness of the heathen. These other nations. Ezra's dropping and say, hey, they got rid of the women they married, because the Most High said we're supposed to be marrying other nations. You get mad at me, don't get an attitude with me, get mad with the Most High. Tell him he don't know what he's talking about. You already see what that wicked saying, so you got that same spirit, then you ain't nothing but wicked yourself. That's all you are. You feel that way. Take it up with the Most High, tell him he don't know what he's talking about. If you will, because that's what he said. Look, Ezra 6 and 21 again. And the children of Israel, which were come again out of captivity, and all such as had separated themselves unto them from the filthiness of the heathen. Hear that? The First Ezra